So I want to talk about something a little bit different here today, and that's kind of the overall state of the union. How is Total War Warhammer 2 doing right now? That's something that a lot of people have kind of asked me on direct messages, on comments, on Reddit, on forums, and not just me. There's just kind of the general buzz, but the kind of consensus is that, hey, Total War Warhammer 2 fans are starving for content, and I totally understand that kind of angle, and I see that. That's true. I mean, like, you can see the content I've been releasing lately has been mainly focused on, hey, here's some of the stuff from the past that I'm kind of covering, or here's some quick battles, or here's some stuff that I hope comes in the future. But one of the big things we're all really waiting for is May. May is kind of like that make it or break it time for Total War Warhammer 2, I think. And I think a lot of people are not apprehensive, but I would say the word definitely pessimistic about, hey, is May even going to be that great? And just from some of the buzz that I've seen from what CA has confirmed as far as Twitter posts, or what I've kind of done as far as like doing some research and digging deep down, I want to talk about that here today, and how I'm actually very excited for May. I mean, like, my nipples are kind of hard talking about it. So let's kind of go into, from a numbers perspective, what we saw in Total War Warhammer 1, what we've come to expect from Creative Assembly, and hopefully what Total War Warhammer 2 has to offer us. That's kind of, I guess, the layout of this overall video. So let's start off here with Total War Warhammer 1. Or I guess maybe an overarching good jump here is that nice development update that Creative Assembly released, kind of talking about, hey, what are the teams working on right now? And one of the biggest things that the teams are working on are their each and respective games. The Thrones of Britannia is being created, the Three Kingdoms team is creating that, but we also have the Total War team, and their biggest thing right now is working on making Norsca work with the code base of Total War Warhammer 2. They obviously didn't expect it to be the way it is, and that kind of, they even admitted it, like, that's kind of the double-edged sword of having two teams working at one time. Sometimes they kind of work in their own vacuums, and then as a result, the coding just kind of gets fucked to fuck. But rather than talking about that, I want to talk about their overall statement of just saying, like, hey, here's what you can come to expect is a lot of Norsca coming out, and then a dual lord pack in the vein of the King and the Warlord. So let's take a look at what the King and the Warlord came out with Total War Warhammer 1. So we got Belegar and Skarsnik, right? And we got the sub-factions related to both. We got Clan Angrand, we got the Crooked Moon, so we got a lot of awesome stuff from this. We got we did get 7 units that were released with this. We got Rangers, Bugman's Rangers, Bolt Throwers, Night Goblin War Bosses, Squig Herds, Squig Hoppers, and Nasty Skulkers. We also got, of course, 2 Lord types, just like I was talking about, the Night Goblin War Boss, and then the Rune Lord. And then we got the Regiments of Renown for both the Greenskins and the Dwarfs. So we got a lot in that DLC pack. So there's that in and of itself is pretty exciting to me. So let's keep that in mind, that is what a Lord pack consists of. Roughly 2 playable races, roughly 2 playable Lords, a few new units per race, and new elite Regiments of Renown of each race. And a lot of this information, just so you guys know, you can follow along with me, I'm pulling directly from Total Warhammer Gamepedia.com. They have a really nice little layout here, and I'm going to be using some of those as the screenshots going forward in this video to kind of lay out my point, so to kind of, I guess, reinforce where my mindset is on the future of Total War Warhammer 2. So let's also take a look then at the overall DLC and FLC combined launches for Total War Warhammer 1. And we see a pretty consistent, roughly month break from DLC to DLC. You've got May, then June, then July, then you've got a 2-month break to September for your Grim in the Grave, then a break into the end of October for the King and the Warlord, and then you had Realm of the Wood Elves come out in December, followed by Bretonia coming out sometime in early 2017. For some reason, this is not on this list. Oh, there it is, February 28th, 2017, which was, of course, a FLC. So we have a pretty consistent flow here, right? And with almost each one of these DLCs, we get an FLC of some sort. We get Vlad von Karstein that was released somewhat in conjunction with the Grim and the Grave about 8 days later. We get Wurzog that was released in conjunction with the King and the Warlord. The Grey and Jade Wizards that came out in conjunction with our Realm of the Wood Elves. So they kind of at least give us a little free sum with a little paid sum, a little mix and match, buy as you go, do what you want, do what you need. So I kind of like that blueprint, that kind of that mentality. That's kind of catered the way that we should expect our DLC, and that's been reminiscent of Total War Warhammer 2. With the Blood for the Blood God, we have gotten Mortal Empires, somewhat shortly after they're in, kind of around the same time. Of course, that was supposed to be more with the launch of the game, but we won't split hairs here as much as I want to. We have the Laboratory, which was kind of weird. That did come out the December 14th, and that was kind of like, hey, let's see if people like this. And then we had Clan Rictus and Tretch Craventail come out with Rise of the Tomb Kings. So, with this, whatever Lord pack this is, whatever dual lords we get, is it going to be 10 and 1? Is it going to be Hellebron? Is it going to be Lady Alariel? Or is it going to be like who's the guy I can't think of the name of right now? Ikka Claw from Tretch Craven, or from Tretch Craventail, from Clan Scryer. Who are these? What is this combo going to be like? What is this going to include? But we do know this is probably going to include 2 lords, legendary lords, then 2 accompanying lord and/or hero units, whatever that may be. Maybe what's the Anointed of Assyrian for say like the High Elves, or something of the sort like the Assassin for the Skaven. We know we're going to get something like that will match in tow with the theme overall of the DLC pack. And we also know we're going to get somewhat up to around 7 units. So maybe that's your Shadow Warriors for your High Elves. Maybe that's your Salamanders for your Lizardmen. Or maybe finally, thank God, it might be the Rattling Guns or the Warlock Jezzails for Skaven, There's a lot of exciting potential things coming with that dual lord pack, and on top of it, we're going to get 2 races, regiments of renounce, or whatever that conjunctive lord pack is. So that's a lot of stuff coming in May. And if we take a look at the overall breakdown here now, if I'm looking at Total War Warhammer 1 compared to Total War Warhammer 2, we've got 7 total DLCs came out for Total War Warhammer 1, and then 11 total came out. 11 total FLCs came out for Total War Warhammer 1. Now, Warhammer 1 was released in May 23rd, and then Warhammer 2 was like September 28th, something like that. Now, that's about, give or take a year, 4 months, and 5 days. That's your difference between the 2 releases. Now, with Total War Warhammer 2, we have got a huge gap in between that and Game 3. If Game 3 is right after 3 Kingdoms. So 3 Kingdoms is slated for a later this year launch. And Total War Warhammer 2, or Warhammer 3, probably doesn't have a full team, because methinks that team is dedicated so heavily to Norsca. So I guess the overall crux of this video is, if we wait until after May, I think we're going to start to see a much accelerated release schedule. At least I'm hoping that we see an accelerated release schedule of DLCs, FLCs, content in general for Game 3, stuff like that, to kind of, whet the beak, sate our thirst for more stuff for Total War. Because if we take a look at the steamdb.info, and as we know from the steamdb info, it has all of the DLCs on it. It has all the future DLCs also on it too. And a lot of very observant forum and Reddit goers have pointed this out to me. Arthur Daphos actually brought this to my attention. He's one of our regular viewers here, and he was saying like, hey, look at all these DLCs and FLCs. And on the Total War Warhammer 2 one, it shows all of our ones that we've got for Warhammer 2 already: Blood for the Blood God 2, Mortal Empires, Rise of the Tomb Kings, Depths of Aisha, and Tretch Craventail. It also shows all the stuff we've gotten for Warhammer 1. So what it doesn't show is the 7 kind of unknown name holders that we have for future DLC. Now, it's important to note with this list, they do not put, supposedly royal they, do not put, the Big Brother, do not put the FLCs on this list. They're uploaded the day of from past experience. People have noted that and said, hey, let's say, for instance, the Realm of the Wood Elves, that's a planned DLC, that is on this list, or was on this list. But Krell or Jade Wizard, which were future FLCs, were not on this list. So I guess for some reason FLCs will upload the day of, whereas DLC is always on here. I'm not sure why that's the case. Take that with a grain of salt, guys. It's not like it's like firm and set fact. But let's work under the assumption that is the case. And if you guys know otherwise, please feel free to correct me. I'm just saying, let's assume that that's the case. So if we look at this list, we've got 7 potential DLCs coming. Let's mark one of them off as this Dual Lord pack. That makes 6. Let's mark another one off as another Dual Lord pack to fill the opposite 2 races that we don't get from this next coming one. That makes a total of 5. So 5 new DLCs projected to come out in between now and Total War Warhammer 3. and with that, of course, any corresponding FLC linked to it, other lords, so on and so forth. Let's not speculate too heavy into what that is. So that's 5, and we've already gotten 1 race with the Tomb Kings. We got a total of 3 races in Total War Warhammer 1. So, needless to say, we're probably going to get a lot of goodies with those 5 DLCs. We'll probably get some sort of total revamp of the old world races. I wouldn't be surprised if they just lump that into one like super DLC or even FLC. Like, hey, here's like a massive combo Lord pack. I would pay like $10, $15, I don't care, $8, whatever the hell it usually is, for like, hey, here's old world Lord pack. It includes Elspeth, it includes Goros, it includes Torox, it includes any of the named dwarf lords I can't think of right now because my brain's just shot to shit. But any of these other named lords that we talked so much about and want so much more in the lore from Game 1, because Game 1 does need that overall facelift to match up to Game 2, right? They need to have some sort of mechanic per race so that it feels like you're actually playing a different race than the other ones. You get that so much in Warhammer 2. So I think that they'll do something like that. They're going to have so much time in between Total War Warhammer 2 and Total War Warhammer 3. In fact, 6 or 8 months or so more so than the timeline between Warhammer 1 to Warhammer 2. If they release it around the same time, September, I'm just going to assume September is kind of their golden release time. So let's assume that Three Kings comes out this September/October. Then Total War Warhammer 3 will come out around probably that same timeline. I don't think it'll come out in May of 2019. I think we're going to be waiting all the way till Q4 or Q3 of 2019 for Warhammer 3. So with that, they have so much time, like I'm saying, to really fill those gaps. And I think that a lot of the anger and a lot of the frustration with Creative Assembly is very rightly founded and very rightly placed. But I think that come the end of next month, we're all going to be in a much better position to go, okay, all right, I'm glad I weathered the storm. Norsca hit. If you think about what we're going to get in May, right? We'll have one whole new, well, quote-unquote new race with Norsca, and I'm really excited to see what they do, adding it into Total War Warhammer 2. Hopefully that does something new and unique to the faction that makes them feel fresher again, even though I haven't played them in it's been like 8 months, hasn't it? Oh god, I miss my werewolves. But let's just assume that they do something new or something like that. If they do that, then the faction itself will feel new and exciting. And all the places that have just blanket Marauder Chaos factions in the world will hopefully get some sort of Norsca infusion into them. So you'll have more fun playing the Mazdamundi campaign, or more fun playing the Marathi campaign as you deal with the raiders and marauders that are in that central portion of Nagaron to Lustria Jump, that little Central America portion. We're going to get the 2 lords, legendary lords, whatever they might be. We're going to get regiments of renown for up from 4 to 6 factions. So obviously we're going to get all of the original regiments of renown, and then we're going to get the 2 new ones, right? So that's 6 total factions, regiments of renown, being put into or back into, however you want to split that hair, into the game. On top of it, we're going to get up to 7 new units, of course, with whatever we're coming in the dual lord pack. So it's a pretty exciting time, I think, and it's very much needed for the Total War community, for the Warhammer community of Total War especially, because I mean I think we've all kind of hit that lull. I mean, how many times can I play through the Tyrian campaign before wanting to gouge my eyes out? But I think that these regiments of renown will revitalize the 2 factions that they infuse them with, and whatever sub-factions that they give us with those. Hopefully they will have sub-factions attached to those legendary lords. As we've seen, that's kind of the repeating motif since Game 1 came out. They've said, oh, okay, maybe we'll just go this route of doing it, and I think that's what they're going to stick with. So I think that May is going to be, again, super exciting for us guys. Let's hold out until June to get those pitchforks going, because I think that once May hits and once the teams can finally get off of Norsca and back onto content that they want to produce, because imagine how frustrating it is for them at that point. Like, I'm pissed off because I'm a consumer, but imagine being like, oh man, remember when I worked 8 months to produce this content, and then now I have to go and work another 8 months to produce it again? Like, that'd piss me off as a creative individual. So hopefully they'll be able to jump to new content and show us some of the exciting roadmap they have ahead. We'll see whatever that FLC is, because that FLC map kind of changes from like week to week, so I don't trust it too much as far as what the possible FLC lord is that's going to come out with this lord pack. So again, that's a hope based off of the previous DLCs. We hopefully will be getting an FLC with this, so I'm excited to see what that might be. Maybe it's something with Norsca, who knows? It might be even something with any other lords we have access to. So it would be much and greatly needed, because on top of it, of course, by looking at that what they're working on, you can see that we also have the monster hunts and new technology. So stuff will kind of feel already up to code with Total War Warhammer 2 and Norsca, so I'm excited for that overall. But I just wanted to kind of release this video here real quick, guys, so I know a lot of you have been wondering about this stuff, and I feel like it's really my duty as an influencer, especially for Total War and Creative Assembly, to kind of tell you guys what my opinion is of all this, how I feel about everything. I don't want you guys just to think I'm sitting here in the dark just clutching my fingers going, yes, yes, consume my videos. No, I am just as frustrated about as you guys are, and I think that in the future things will be pretty rad, hopefully so at least. But let me know your thoughts in the comments. Maybe you agree with me, maybe you totally disagree with me. That's totally fine. We're allowed to have these differing opinions, and I wanted this to be a cool forum that you guys can explore those differing opinions and talk to each other. As long as you guys don't get like up in arms against one another, I'm totally cool with it. I want you guys to have pretty civil conversations about this, because maybe some of you guys are totally okay with this and you don't have enough time to play a whole ton, so you have tons of content still to burn through. So just pick and choose your battles here. I don't want anyone to get too crazy in the comment section. But thanks so much for watching here today, guys. Hopefully we'll have some more content coming out soon from Creative Assembly, but in the meantime, I will continue to feather dust you with more and more lore, more 40k lore and the such. So be on the lookout for that. Really excited to share that with all of you guys. But thanks for watching, have a good one, and take care.